Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom, and this is my Kirsten. So, unlike some of the other dolls I've presented, those are my daughter's dolls or newer dolls. This is mine from when I got her back in the early 90s. So, she is my Kirsten because my mother wanted me to get a blonde-haired, blue-eyed doll. Yes, I know it's dark. It turned that color. My hair is not dyed. I have not dyed my hair in years, but it was, I don't know if it was similar to this. And I do have blue eyes. And I have family that came from Sweden on my father's side. But we are going to be covering her craft book. So this is actually a newer book. A new used book as opposed to the cookbook, which was mine. I did not have her craft book. I didn't even know if her craft book existed. It's possible, nonetheless. So in this one, again, similar to Felicity's, if you saw my Felicity collection, these follow an order, though of course Felicity was the first of the newer dolls in the company. Kirsten, Samantha, and Molly were the first ones that came out in 1986. So, and then Felicity was the next. So, and then Addie, who I'll be covering next after this. So, this talks about Kirsten's life, and then it's going to talk about a couple different crafts. So, crafting tips. So in the first one, which is the Frontier Household, you have a braided mat, dry herbs and flowers, and then onion dye skin. So it's talking about using fabric strips and just kind of, are you twisting them or they're braiding? No, they're braiding. So, and then you braid them and you kind of wind it up, and then it looks like you sew it. So they would use up everything. They would patch clothing until it was rags, and then use scrub dishes to make rags. Then it was used for rags to scrub dishes and to make rugs. So, and then you have the drying materials where, again, they're drying fruit. And then you can dye yarn by using onion. So, a natural yellow dye. And then, that's all of that. And then you have Stitch in Time, where you have a patchwork pillow, you have a bunny pin cushion. I think Felicity had a pin cushion as well. And then you have a quilted pot holder. So, again, this is a patchwork little pillow where you're just kind of sewing fabric. Good introductory to sewing. I do recommend everybody learn how to sew. It's always good to learn how to mend things. Then you have a little bunny pin cushion. So, if you're not familiar with sewing, in order to hold pins or needles, you have something to stuff and put them in. So, and it's talking about the stitching and how they're stitching this is from her birthday book, where they're making a patchwork quilt. And then the quilted pot holder, which again, fabric and you're sewing. So, good basic stitches. And then you have Pioneer Playthings, which has a yarn doll, a chronometry toy, which I can't pronounce, and then a magic wallet. So, here's a little yarn toy. So, she had a little yarn doll. So they would get yarn from sheep. Talks about the sheep. And then it talks about this chronometry toy. Basically, it's just kind of a spinning thing that goes back and forth. Simple toys. And then it has this magic wallet, which is just some pieces of wood and fabric. No idea why on earth this is in here. I think they were homemade toys. Probably because most of their toys were made out of wood, and this is made out of wood, but carving wood. So, and then the last one is Swedish tradition. So you have a midsummer wreath, you have a Darla horse, and you have a stenciled box. So in this one, again, you make a flowered wreath, and then you have the horse here where you, basically you model it out of clay, and then you paint it. So, and then the traveling horses. But yeah, this is very common in Sweden, I think Norway as well. And then you just have a box where you're painting. And then you kind of see this is the blue colors. This is very, this is part of her colors. No. Can you see this? I'm blowing the curtain. The trunk sitting right here. This is Kirsten's style. My father, however, made it for me for my 13th birthday. So my dad made this because the one that was being sold for Kirsten was made out of very cheap materials. I hear banging. I think my husband and my daughter are trying to put in new shelves for the new bed. And then you have arts from the Indians. So you have a leather pouch, clay beaded necklace, a calendar stick, and an owner stick. So again, you're making a little leather pouch, and again, more sewing and beading. A little beaded necklace, pretty easy. The calendar stick, I'm actually having you get so this is like a leather thong, and you put it on and you have a big stick there. So that looks like the real thing. So that's kind of, you're marking the time. So, and then it has the patterns in the back. So it has all the patterns and everything in the back. So that is her craft book. Very fun, simple, some great different crafts you can do. Learning basic sewing. No, I don't consider it woman's work. My father knows how to sew, but he was in the military. So, and I know how to mend things. Well, my sister does, and my mother taught me to sew. Eventually, I want to sew more. So, but nonetheless, great book, always fun, great addition, and of course, learning the history. So that is it for this collection, or not this collection, this video. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe, and we will continue those. I continue on with Kirsten's. I should probably go keep my husband and my daughter from strangling each other. They are way too much alike, but nonetheless, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you.